Hey everybody, it's Cynthia Porter with Visit Winona. Ed Hoffman is running the camera. We are Facebook Live from one of Winona's most legendary and sacred festivals. This is the Dakota Homecoming, or the Great Dakota Gathering. It's called different things by different people, but it's a festival that goes on here one time a year. It's about 16 years old, and if you've never been to this, I'm going to tell you all about it. So I have been around this festival since it started. Actually, I was working for the newspaper, and some men came to town and they contacted us and said, "Hey, are you interested in writing about this festival we're thinking about starting?" And that was Lyle Rusted and Ed Lonis, and they had brought hereditary chief Ernie Wapasha to Winona, and his wife and their son Leonard Wapasha. So the Wapashas, just a little bit of history. This was called Wapasha's Prairie by Native American cultures, for, I don't know, millenniums probably. And then the European settlers started coming here. They really liked this land, so we did really a lot of, let's be honest, a lot of terrible things as European settlers, and we removed Native Americans from this land. They got distributed all over the upper Midwest. Some went to Canada. A lot were put on reservations in South Dakota and North Dakota. It's a horrible and tragic history. But what had happened is that these men were working on some reconciliation. They wanted to try to bring these people back to their ancestral homes. So the Wapashas, Ernie Wapasha and then his son Leonard Wapasha, were the direct descendants of the former chiefs Wapasha. There's Wapasha 1, Wapasha 2, Wapasha 3. Here, we're going to get out of the wind a little bit. And so these were their descendants. And so these two gentlemen, Ed Lonis was also Dakota Indian. Lyle was not, but he was a person who had a vision and unity for this culture. And so they are the foundation of this event. And the different tribes of Dakota and Lakota from across the entire upper Midwest were coming to this. They bring their drum circles, they bring their dancers. There's going to be, they call it the Grand Entry, and what that is basically is it's a competition dance where different dancers come from different tribes. They're wearing regalia. The regalia, everything that they do, to us it looks like it's just some people out there dancing and people banging on a drum. But what you need to understand is that everything that they do is so sacred. They're just getting started. So the regalia that they have is formed over a process, as I understand, of many years, where they start building little pieces of it, and they dream it, and they are gifted items for it. Native Americans are the only people in the United States who can legally possess eagle's feathers. So you'll see some of them have eagle's feathers embedded into their regalia. They're not costumes. You should never call them costumes, because these outfits are an expression of their spirituality, of their Indian spirituality, and they are sacred. I just bought a beautiful little anklet. Isn't that sweet? From a vendor that's over here. They have blankets, they have some t-shirts, they have shawls, and they have jewelry. They have beaded earrings that are magnificently beautiful, and they're so inexpensive. There's some other vendors here too. I haven't walked around to see all of the vendors who are here. There's also a fry bread truck. Fry bread is a very typical Native American dish. It's like basically like a really puffy tortilla that's fried, and then taco fixings and things like that are put on top of it. So anyway, the Dakota Homecoming. All right, the wind kicked down, so we'll turn this way a little bit. So the Dakota Homecoming, it started really small, but then right away it got so much bigger because a lot of donors in the community helped to bring all of these different groups in that came from as far away as Canada and North Dakota, South Dakota. It's expensive to travel, and so there were fundraisers and there were donors who made this all happen. This was an event that really was picking up steam for a few years, and some things happened. That there was a change in the leadership. That it was terrible. I thought it was going to die. I thought that the event was over because it really just kind of took it in a different direction for a while. I'm just being honest with you. But now that leadership has changed around again, and some new people have come in and reinvigorated this event, and it's back. I hear one drum. I just saw another drum go by. In this circle, we'll walk up there in a minute. I know you want to see it. It's beautiful. In this circle, there'll be drum circles, and so each drum circle comes from a different community. They have one drum in the community. It's cared for by one drum caretaker. I don't remember, they have a word for her. It's always a woman, and she's the keeper of the drum. Basically, the drum is completely sacred, and then people are added to the drum circle only through a very special process. I think they have to be like visioned or dreamed into it, and they then can join the drum circle. What they're singing is actually Native American songs. Their words. It's hard to understand because this is their original language, and it's something that nearly died with their culture. We actually, apparently, the European people forced them to stop speaking their own language, and that's why. Did you ever see the movie about the code talkers? Because and there was actually a code talker here one year. They were people, I think it was during World War II, the Dakota Indian language, it had never even been written down, really. It was a completely oral language. And so nobody, especially the Germans, understood it. Nobody knew it. And so our government brought in a team of code talkers to communicate on military operations with each other in Dakota language. So the enemies couldn't understand they could break every other code, but they could not break this code because the language is so original to the people that nobody else knew it. So anyway, fun fact. Dakota language is coming back. I know that within their communities, they're teaching it more to their children. You'll hear kids sometimes speaking. There was, right before this started, there was a storyteller. He's up on the stage still. Thanks, Ed. I was going to go down on that one. There's a storyteller. I hate to say it, it might be Danny Seaboy. It used to be Danny Seaboy for years and years and years. He was a very famous Dakota storyteller, and it sounds like him, but it might be someone else who is up there telling. So they talk and they share tales. They share just anecdotes about the culture. You can hear the singing. It's just beautiful. There used to be, at its height, when I was coming here early in its start, there was probably like 6 or 8 drum circles. It's incredible, and then they would take turns. And I'm not sure. There might only be a couple here now. I mean, it's a lot of organizing. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of effort to bring those groups to the community. And so hopefully it's something that as it builds back up. But if you have never been to a powwow, that's the colloquial name for what this is, a powwow. It's also called a wasipi. A wasipi in Dakota culture is like a celebration, a festival, a fiera, a gathering in which they come together, they eat, they tell stories to each other, they play games. There's a game called the Moccasin Games. I haven't seen if they're playing the Moccasin game, but that's tons of fun to watch. If you ever had the chance to go to a powwow, like the real deal powwow, they probably will have these Moccasin games too. And basically, it's like a shell game. It's really, really elaborate shell game where there's like a team of 3 on one side, a team of 3 on the other side. And so they have these like pads, embroidered fabric covers. And they take and they hide like just basically a shell under one of it, and then they try to psych each other out and trick each other, and then the other ones have a wand and they have to like guess, and then you get points if you get it, you know, and they consult with each other and they trick each other. It's so fun to watch. So I don't know if they're doing the moccasin game here right now, but if you ever have the chance, you have to just sit down and watch it being played. One thing about the moccasin game, girls can't play. You know, there are some cultural things that I don't personally agree with, having to do with, you know, their cultural beliefs, in which there's a real division culturally between men and women and their duties and their roles. I will say this, in the Native American culture, women are a very significant force. They're like the life givers, and but men play the moccasin game. So, okay, so these dancers. Ed has 20%. He's like, wrap it up, Cynthia. I'm not going to talk too much more as we get up real close here, because I'm just going to let you have a look and watch what's going on. But, okay, so every year this happens. The date has moved around a little bit, but I think they've kind of settled into either the end of August or the beginning of September. That's kind of where it's been the last couple of years. There are other Native American events that happen around Minnesota. I know in Mankato there's a large powwow, but this one is special because one of the things that comes with it is like a truth-telling circle. It was really an effort by people in Winona to just kind of mend, to whatever extent is even possible, to mend the wrongs that had been done to the community of Dakota Indian who lived here. This was their ancestral home. The Sugarloaf, here we're going to turn, I'm just going to give you a look at Sugarloaf. Sugarloaf was kind of, it was called Wapasha's Cap, and it was actually a domed bluff, just like all of the other ones, and we quarried it to look like that. It didn't look like that before, but it was called originally Wapasha's Cap, and this area right in here and around the base of it was their summer home, where they spent summers. Okay, so enough about that. Let's go see the grand entry. There's all different kinds of dancers. There's the jingle dress dancers. The jingles that they have are actually all snuff tins, and they take the lid of the snuff tin and they twist it, and then they sew hundreds and hundreds onto their clothes. There's also the boys, just like grass dancers, and everything is really shaky and jingly. It's so beautiful.
Why are they crying for that?
Right now they have their color guard has come in. You know, Native Americans have served in our military. They have been soldiers just like everyone else in our culture, and so they even have like a POW flag and some other military garb on with their regalia. Let's go look.
But they're crying because that fellow soldier, all the comrades, got killed. So they would attack, crying. And this is part of the song, what it reflects to in their words. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's a very good honor to be here. It's a little bit windy here, so we're just going to do our best here. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, we got we have 3 Eagle staffs. First of all, I'd like to recommend the Gordon Weston Lodge, if you would recognize their organization there, military organization. They've been there for quite a few years as Vietnam Veterans Day. Got together and it started, and today they still host this celebration coming together. They were here beginning, the first year that we came here when Rick and I first started here. So we're really honored to see in 1862
that is Danny
the hanging that happened to our people. We've carried an Eagle staff that represents the 38 that were hung there. 2 years later, 2 more were hung, the chiefs. And that was Medicine Bottle and Chalk Bay himself. And he carries that flag. I'd like to thank Vietnam Veteran Marine Corps, Basil Heath. Let's give him a nice round of applause.
So what he's doing what Danny's doing is explaining.
Karen, the
A lot of the
Northwestern
people
Lodge
here who are
Master
watching
Shield.
are not Native American.
The shield
So what Danny's doing
comes from
is
when you're
he's
vision
explaining the
and
regalia,
what
the
you're gonna
eagle
use as a
staff
warrior
that
when you
they're
go on the
carrying,
hill,
and it
the
has
certain
the
things
eagle
you
feathers
see,
coming from it.
the
It was
visions, and
for
this was put
a
on that
massive
shield
group
to
hanging
protect
that happened,
that
and so it's
warrior,
to
and
commemorate
words
those
and
lives
songs
that
that
were
you would use
lost
with
in
that,
that one event.
with that
Um,
shield.
And
Carrying that
so what
today,
he's
we're
doing
on
is
to
just
see
explaining the
Levi
music to the people.
Blackbeard
He's
carrying
explaining
that.
some
Let's
of
give him
their
a nice round of applause. He
regalia
comes
to
from
the
our
people.
Woodchuck Nation
And
here. Woodchuck
I
Nation
think they're
also
gonna. I think they're gonna
was
get
part of
going
helping our
with the
with
actual
Oaxaca
dancing right
when they
now.
went to war
So
with,
I see out there also
in
there's scarf
1862.
dancers. They're so fun to
And
watch.
today,
and they
carrying the
and they have
American
fringes,
flag.
and
This is
you'll see some very young children
Sandman,
out there in regalia.
an organization
And
carrying the
also some
American flag.
very
I'd like to thank
old
Perry
people
Luskins.
who've been doing this
This
all
is
of their lives.
Storm
So
Goodwin. Let's give him
it's
a
so
nice round of
special.
applause.
I'm so happy
All
we're
right,
here.
now,
I'll
the
just-
gentleman
I'll tell
that's
you
standing out here with
before,
his Eagle staff.
we go back up there and watch.
Yeah,
Every
okay,
week
I
you send
recognize
us
the American
somewhere,
flag already.
wherever you say to
Gentleman
go.
that's
We're gonna
Eagle
go.
staff here
This
today.
week, I'm so
Is your
happy to
flag-
be here at this event.
Eagle staff
And,
comes from
And
commemorating
I'm looking forward to where it's going to be next week.
the war.